Hi, I'm Carter Hansen. Congress, the elected body of politicians that are chosen through a system that gives everyone an equal voice. However, is that really the case? If our Congress was elected under such a fair system, why is it that congressional approval is only at 18%? I'd say there's a problem with the way we choose our representatives in the first place, but there's a great solution. It's increasing the number of seats in the House of Representatives and using a method called mixed member proportional, or MMP, to fill those seats. Here's my proposal. First, we increase the number of seats in the House. The founders intended the seat count grow concurrently with the increasing US population. However, the number of seats hasn't changed since 1913, so it's time to fix that. I would argue for the current 435-member House be replaced with a 588-member House. I got this number, 588, by taking the cubed root of the US population and subtracting 100, which are the 100 seats of the Senate. Using the cubed root would bring the US in line with other representative democracies like Canada, Japan, and Mexico. Now that we've cubed that away, we can turn our attention to the mysterious MMP, which dictates how votes are counted and how seats are apportioned. First, we take half that number, 294, and set those seats aside for later. I'll get back to those. Then we redistrict the nation, splitting it into 294 areas of equal population. This is easier to understand with an example, so let's go to a mock election. In this simulation, I've broken the two big parties into 5 smaller ones. The Progressives under Bernie Sanders, the Tea Party under Ted Cruz, the America First Party under Donald Trump, and the Democrats and Republicans maintaining their moderate electorates. An election for the House is called, and the vote is in. Here's a map of the results. The Democrats and Republicans dominated, receiving almost 3/4 of the seats. It looks like we're headed back to a two-party system. However, when people voted for their local representative, they also voted separately for their favorite political party. Looking at the party vote tells a completely different story. Less than half of voters chose one of the big two parties as their favorite. Under MMP, this party vote means something besides revealing why people are always so dissatisfied with government. The party vote is used to make the composition of Congress proportional to the will of the people. Remember the other 294 seats I set aside earlier? Well, those are used to ensure the distribution of seats in Congress is proportional to the party vote. Let's go back to my mock election. The Progressives received 21% of the party vote. Under MMP, this means they will receive around 21% of the seats in the House, or 124 members. 21 of these come from district elections, and the other 103 come from that pool of seats we reserved previously. This same tabulation is calculated for all the parties, with the number of seats for each being determined. There are also a few wild cards, with the Greens and Libertarians garnering enough of the party vote to gain 7 and 19 seats respectively. These seats are first filled with representatives elected in district races that happened previously across the country. Then the other 294 are filled according to the party vote, ensuring proportionality and equal say. Here's the final results. Assuming the Democrats, Progressives, and Greens, and the Republicans, Tea Party, and America First form coalitions, neither will have a majority. This makes the Libertarians the kingmakers, putting them in a position to negotiate a government with whomever compromises. This outcome is far better than anything the current electoral approach could ever produce. Under MMP, political and ideological diversity aren't crushed under a two-party system. They're recognized, embraced, and most importantly, represented. And the enforced proportionality inherent in MMP allows third parties to grow and flourish. As a result, compromise becomes a necessity because it is the only way to form a governing coalition. And going back to proportionality, MMP totally eliminates gerrymandering. Even if you draw all the districts completely in your favor, you can never gain control of the entire legislative body because the party vote matters just as much as the district vote. Increasing the number of seats in the House of Representatives and implementing MMP, mixed member proportional, is exactly what our democracy needs to promote compromise and equality. America deserves a system of representation befitting the consequence of the legislation our government passes judgment on. MMP is just that system. I'm Carter Hansen, thank you.